In March 2025, a TikTok user known as LooseMary176 posted a video about a painting she created during the 2020 lockdown. She thought she was just capturing her thoughts on canvas, but after 4 years, the painting suddenly started moving on its own.
Mira, te digo que algo se mueve en el cuadro. Fíjate bien, quédatele viendo. ¿Ya viste? Ay, no mames, güey. Sí.
Somehow, parts of it seemed to move from the inside, almost like clouds slowly drifting. That strange movement is what kicked off a huge online debate, with people arguing over whether it was a trick of the light, camera effects, or something we can't explain.
Algo se mueve en el cuadro. Fíjate bien, quédatele viendo. ¿Ya viste? Ay, no mames, güey. Sí.
Case number 9, the photo glitch. This photo was taken at a 60th birthday party that appeared to be a normal celebration. But when you compare it to the shot taken just seconds later, you'll realize that they weren't. Look at the space behind the guests. In that second picture, you can clearly see a pale, unfamiliar face suddenly appear, peeking over the shoulder of the woman wearing navy blue. The crazy part is that no one seems to remember seeing the lady at the party. And that tiny detail is what has people arguing online about whether this was a glitch, a prank, or maybe something much more unsettling. Case number 8, Death Room. Back in 2019, a video posted on the Ghost subreddit by a user named Danzo_950 showed something strange happening during what was meant to be a spiritual cleansing. The recording was requested by a woman who owned what she called a death room, and she wanted proof of the cleaning process to share in a Facebook group.
Heavenly Father, I ask for your divine presence to fill this space. May your light shine brightly through every room.
As the camera rolls, you see her go through the ritual, saying a protective prayer while holding a rosary.
Heavenly Father, I ask for your divine presence to fill this space.
Which Catholics use in prayer, much like the counting beads the Japanese use.
Cleansing this home of any negativity, fear, or unrest. Let peace dwell in every corner and love be the foundation of every wall. Bless this home with your protection, surrounding it with your angels, and shielding it from harm and evil. May every door be a passage to your grace, and every window open to your blessings. In Jesus' name.
But the reason the clip caught people's attention is that somewhere in the middle of the cleansing, the rosary appeared to have been tugged from the other side of the room. You can clearly see that there was no one standing there, and you can't say it's the wind because nothing else moved. Now, viewers are left questioning whether the ritual stirred up more than it was meant to clear.
Harm and evil. May every door be a passage to your grace, and every window open to your blessings. In Jesus' name.
Case number 7, the silent stalker. Back in August 2019, a YouTube channel called A Paranormal Journey caught something seriously unsettling while filming in a supposedly haunted forest during a stormy night.
Mark and Jamie, tonight
as we investigate the haunted woods somewhere in Anglesey tonight. This light switch thing on. I tried to take over here as well.
So you're going over here?
So that's alright. I'll do it again. Stop. Okay?
Do you want to stand in the same place or
No,
stay
go.
there?
Yeah. Joined Kev, Mark, I nearly said that. Okay, ready?
As the team stood around discussing what they were about to do, the camera caught something no one noticed at the time. Perched on the roof of a nearby building was a tall, dark shape with no features. It looked like a shadow was just standing there, watching.
It was found. It didn't have a head. The death was put down to natural causes, but it wasn't until 6 months later that the head was found. Whether animals took it away, no one still quite doesn't know what actually happened to the person, how they died. It's one of those mysteries that was never solved. We're going to go to that building tonight, and we're going to do some kind of investigation, maybe do an EVP, call outs and stuff like that, and see if we get any responses.
There you go. You just walk out and then I'll follow you, yeah?
Yeah, there's a bingo, yeah.
Yeah. I'll stand here for a minute and...
One moment it was there, and the next, it was gone. And the creepiest part is that it showed up while everyone was distracted. So they had no idea it was even there until they reviewed the footage later. Case number 6, why this hotel never sleeps. A TikTok user named Jenna Snow works at a hotel that sits uncomfortably too close to an old cemetery. Before these clips were captured, guests had been calling the front desk, complaining about footsteps outside their doors when the halls were empty. Jenna decided to start checking the security feed and found something more disturbing.
Oh, and it says they hang out, dwell around graveyards. And you know the story on that, right? When Mike hired those 2 native spiritual people to come here and do their stuff, he said it's not the hotel that's haunted, it's the graveyard.
Oh.
So this service road here where Danny and I used to park, that's the old Stony Plain Road. Do you really think they, when they dug up all the bodies here, that was a good one, moved them over to the graveyard?
They dug up the bodies and what?
Before this hotel.
In the first footage, you can see what looks like a see-through shadow figure appearing in different parts of the hotel. And you can also hear Jenna's manager explaining that the service roads and even the games room have this apparition appearing. From the first footage, Jenna and her manager mentioned a local rumor that makes things even creepier. According to the theory, the hotel itself might not be haunted at all, but could be affected by a nearby cemetery, with whatever's there possibly wandering into the building. And after watching the footage, a lot of viewers aren't so sure what to believe anymore.
Do you really think they, when they dug up all the bodies here?
Got a chilling encounter of your own? Email us your footage for a chance to be featured in a future video. Send your footage to theafterhourarchives@gmail.com. Case number 5. What hides in the hospital after dark. This nurse usually films his late night rounds during the graveyard shift. Most of his content is pretty straightforward, just the quiet, routine reality of working overnight in a hospital. But recently, his routine rounds have slowly turned into a nightmare. objects just suddenly fall over out of nowhere, and that's not even up to half of what you're about to witness. The running tap seemed to turn off on its own, then suddenly came back on. But here's something even creepier. Somehow, it seems like no one ever notices these strange things happening.
Cosas de hospital.
Could it be the ghosts of those who had passed away in the hospital? Case number 4. Don't Look Back. A YouTube channel called Zina Buza Ramata, known for exploring abandoned and high-risk locations around the world, caught something seriously unsettling during one of their investigations. They thought they were alone in the deserted house until this happened. Did you see it? At about a few minutes into filming, a humanoid shadow appears for a brief moment at the window and almost immediately vanishes. The duo had absolutely no idea and kept filming like nothing was wrong.
As soon as I touched that doorknob, I got like a stabbing feeling in my shoulder blade. Ow, it really hurts.
What the hell was that?
What? If you heard a squeak, I was...
No, I heard a bang. Hello? Goodbye, creepy. Abandoned planet.
They both knew the atmosphere was no longer the same as when they walked in. It started with a stabbing feeling, then strange noises.
What the hell was that?
What? If you heard a squeak, I was...
No, I heard a bang. Hello?
Prompting the explorers to immediately flee the premises. One thing that stood out from the footage is the fact that they definitely weren't alone in that house. And whatever it was, it certainly didn't like trespassers. Case number 3, thermal versus reality. This footage was uploaded from what was supposed to be a normal camping trip that turned into something straight out of a horror film. The group reported mysterious footprints appearing around their campsite and supplies going missing. Realizing they might not be alone, they decided to send up a thermal drone to find the intruder. The footage caught another stray figure tailing behind the group, sometimes stopping for a while before continuing to follow them. Now, here's where things got even creepier. When the camera was switched from thermal view to normal, the part where the creep stood was zoomed in, but instead of finding a human as seen in the thermal mode, it was a deer standing, staring directly at the drone. And that was how something that started as a simple outdoor getaway suddenly became a search for a hidden stalker. When the group found a spot where the drone had caught the figure standing, they decided to surround him and clear a path for him. You won't believe what happened. There was no one there. I mean, on the thermal camera, you can clearly see that there was a figure there. But just as one of the guys reached it, it just vanishes. Case number 2, Graffiti Gone Wrong. On November 8th, 2023, this footage was uploaded as a tense video showing what was supposed to be a simple graffiti run at an abandoned building. At first, everything goes smoothly. He's tagging walls, moving around the place with no issues, and no interruptions. Then the next thing, he's running for his life. Out of nowhere, a strange figure appears on the roof of the building, running at an inhuman speed, and immediately starts chasing after the guy. The entire situation just turns from a chill graffiti experience to full-on danger. The figure continued to come after him for quite a while, until the footage abruptly came to a stop. No follow-up footage was posted, but I guess it's safe to assume that he got out of the situation. Surely, if he were able to escape, I'm sure this would be the last time he'd pick up a spray can or go someplace abandoned ever again. Case number 1, the hospital entity. A highly disturbing video recently surfaced on TikTok involving a surgeon. She was alone in the operating theater late at night, taking advantage of the quiet environment to record educational material when something sinister happened.
Cat gut. The difference is, I'm so sorry, my brain. Okay, here we go, back. Okay. So here we have 2 different kinds of sutures, polypropylene, monofilament, and chromic catgut. The difference between these two is that this one is dissolvable and it's animal derived, and the sutures last anywhere from 60 to 90 days.
Mid-recording, she suddenly freezes, clearly reacting to something moving just out of view. She stops what she's doing and looks around, trying to figure out if someone else is in the room, and what she finds immediately puts her to tears.
Literally tearing up right now. I saw it.
You saw it?
Yeah, I saw it. Can you please just show yourself?
All efforts to capture what she saw on camera fail. However, she came up with the brilliant idea to leave her device recording and leave the room to see if the entity would show itself in her absence.
Do whatever you want.
Nothing really happens during this time, but when she returned for the device, a lot of strange events started to happen, from the doors closing to this. A mysterious black figure hovers past, moving at inhuman speed. It's hard to make out what exactly it is, but it was more than enough to frighten the surgeon. What do you think it could have been? If tonight's archives kept you on edge, make sure to hit subscribe, turn on the bell, and join us for the next upload.